Nathan Di Rosario. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are we?
It's been too long.
Spoke 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Try to eat tomorrow. Mate,
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How
good.
are you?
Yeah, we're all good, mate.
Good.
Interested for this one. So we're going to talk all things fitness, education,
Great.
and more, mate. So, yeah, do you want to tell everyone what you do for those that might not?
Yeah, so I am head of international business for a company called the Fitness Group. We specialise in education for the health and fitness industry.
And do a lot, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of training going on right now.
Yeah, a lot of training going on. A few hundred students a month.
Spanning.
Yeah, expanding in the UAE, Middle East, and then into Europe as well.
Crazy. And what sort of stuff are you teaching?
Well, pretty much everything you can think of. So standard qualifications that you expect, personal training, Pilates, especially these days with Reformer. Flying, yeah. And then we just actually opened up a Pilates Academy in London. So that's getting more and more popular. And then level 4, so specifically sports massage, sports therapy, but then we partnered with level 4 strength and conditioning education. So we also help deliver that as well. And then your splattering of, let's say, CPD courses, but I like to think more in specialisations around menstrual cycles, sports medicine, stuff like that. So loads of different things. Around about 25 courses at the moment.
That's nuts.
But we look to add into that.
And what do you, how would you see the fitness industry right now, or the health and wellness landscape's probably a better description?
I think it's definitely shifting over the years. I think you've mentioned wellness, so a lot of people will call themselves wellness coaches now. But I don't know where that,
what do they do,
what's defined as that, what do they consider that to be? I understand that recovery is getting more and more important now, and the importance of it, and great, because necessarily back in my day and your day, it was static stretches in the mat area in the corner, right? Yeah, with the colourful weights. Where it's evolved. We know High Price quite well. They've got some fantastic suites in some fantastic facilities all over the UK. Bloodwork, VO2. So I think a lot of it now, wellness is defined as like how someone's day looks, not just they are in the gym anymore. I know nutrition was a big part of that, still is, and even in our day. But now there's a lot more elements to it now. So I think it's definitely evolved for the better. But I think the education from a coaching perspective is still not completely there.
No. What do you see is probably the most in demand education you're selling right now, or topic?
Pilates would be up there. Personal training is still right. It's still, because that's how you start a career within the health and fitness industry. For the majority of it, you need to be a personal trainer.
Grab and go PTs.
Yeah, grab and go PTs. Yeah.
But you don't do that. You guys do actual courses, right?
Yeah, actual courses. We do them in different ways, so we understand that we've got to meet the market where they're at as well. So there's a 5-week intense course with that Monday to Thursday. You're face to face. Right. So we've currently got one in Derby where they'll do their level 2 and level 3 with us. Then there's the hybrid where there's a lot of some work online, and then you connect with your tutors via Zoom or different ways like that. We don't have a digital only personal training course, so it isn't just a tick box scenario. We won't do that because of the quality. I'm not interested in getting. Let me go back 1 second. I am interested in qualifying as many trainers as possible, people that want to work in the industry, but I'm not doing it as a token effort, just try and get as many people in the door. It's got to be quality, because what we don't have, and maybe we used to back in the day, and they do this in America a lot, they would say I'm an NASM personal trainer or I'm an ACE personal trainer. No one says now these days that they are a fitness group personal trainer or someone else's personal trainer. So there's the kind of like brand recognition and loyalty is just not there.
That's quite a good point. we spoke. Poliquin used to be up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Charles. Yeah, you do. You're Poliquin. You're a disciple of Charles Poliquin. Yeah, brilliant. Like you're up there as one of the best. That's
gone then.
Well, I don't think it was ever there from a personal training point of view, if I'm honest. Because then you would go into specialisations, and then you would be recognised as someone. So, like a TRX course, I'm now a qualified TRX trainer. No one really said, "Oh yeah, I'm a qualified coach." Oh, okay. Who did you do that with? It's just like it's kind of like that. It's not recognised enough. So that in a way is an opportunity for us, but also we need to make sure the quality is there, because you want our name recognised with quality, not only from a content perspective, which I feel is up there, and I like to think I've got enough experience now to know what good quality content is in all areas. But then also from a customer experience point of view, not customer service, where you're answering emails and stuff like that. It's kind of the experience after. So when someone's got a qualification, what kind of support they do? Do they recommend us? Do they keep coming back for courses? Do they keep coming back for YouTube videos? Do they keep coming back for events? Stuff like that.
Continual learning cycle.
Continual learning cycle, because then you create a culture. Now, some gyms will do that on their own, and some are very good. Third Space being one of them. I know we've talked about them previously, but they do a lot of stuff in-house. They'll bring people in, High Price being one. They've had TRX in back in the day. Vivo Barefoot is another. So they also recognise that, sometimes we need those specialists in there, but they have a culture of developing their coaches. Now, I understand, compare those to, let's just say, an independent budget gym. There's not necessarily the revenue there, but you can still create a culture, whereas if the coach has to kind of pay for it himself, okay, but you've created that culture where they're more than happy to do that, rather than it's just something that, we recommend you doing, but
And do you think, would you say there's the quality of PTs generally right now has improved or declined in the last kind of 5-6 years?
Good question. I think overall it's slightly declined, but I don't. Sometimes it is to do with the education, and as I said,
these go courses can't be good.
Yeah, we talked about like some training providers. There is kind of a little bit of a dark cloud under training providers, I feel, in the UK specifically. I'm here to change that now. I'm back in the sector specifically, and not for a supplier like I used to do with TRX. So that needs to change. But then I also think it's the type of gyms as well, and what support you're getting with gyms. I just don't think it's one or the both. I spoke to on another podcast Lawrence Everest, who's a good friend, but he's the co-CEO of Love Recruitment, and he's saying actually the support that trainers will get on their journey once they're in the door is lacking as well. So I think it's a little bit of both. Not necessarily putting people on courses, but bringing them into the culture of your club. What's the culture of your club? And that's why retention's dropping, because they don't feel appreciated. There's no growth. A good PT will earn...
Budget gyms haven't helped, I don't think, from that.
No, in that way, they haven't, because what you'll look at is... Let's take a look at personal trainers that are struggling within the first 3 months. That's why they drop out and say this industry isn't for me, because they've either been sold a dream, and this was even when me and you were coaches, like you sort of earn this amount of money, blah blah blah. That's still there today. But also the development within clubs, and the budget gyms. There's some that are trying,
right?
But again, they're restricted because the amount of budgets that they're getting
is about.
Yeah, but then also from a career growth in terms of making the health and industry part of your career, if you look at senior positions, they're earning way less than what a personal trainer would be doing, a good personal trainer.
Yeah, so the financial model.
Yeah, so where's the opportunity, where's the growth? Because you're not rewarding actually, one, loyalty within the club, because actually, back in my day, when I was a club mate, I would love the fact that if I'm giving opportunities within house to actually say, actually, you started as a level 2, you were cleaning treadmills 3 years ago, and now you're running a chain of clubs. All day long, I take that. There's not enough of that, because I don't think the opportunities are there, but I don't think even the rewards, let's say, in terms of the package that you're offering is there anymore.
Mate, it's shocking. I've got a friend.
So it is difficult. So people look at, well, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to do this.
And that's easy for people to do right now.
Yeah, it is. It's easier than, I think, growth within certain clubs.
On your own terms.
Yeah. And even in my day, like I talked about LA Fitness, the reason I left, and I've spoken about this freely before, is I was a fitness manager and I wanted to get into more the club management role, but they were more interested in hiring people from Phones for You rather than someone that had been in the club, knows the members for so long, because all they wanted was members. Now, caveat to that eventually did change, and they were starting to bring in deputy club manager positions where you could in-house, but that was, I'm talking like 15 years ago. It's still quite like that in a way, although Phones for You doesn't exist anymore, but it's the same principle.
Yeah. So Anyone, because I'm staggered how many people you're getting through the door, and you're one of a few training providers. What would you say to anyone that's obviously be watching this because they're into health and fitness, and if they're looking to get into the industry? You've been on the PT on the gym floor yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously now kind of at the pinnacle of your career on the education space with a big opportunity ahead of you where you're influencing essentially what it looks like. What would you say?
It's hard work to start with. I think anyone that sells you the dream that
it's mentally exhausting.
Oh, you get clients and stuff like this. Some do, don't get me wrong, but I think they've got something in them that would.
What would you say that the strength that is? That
I think it's been open in terms of the communication and actually bringing the culture, recognising the culture that was in the gym. If the culture isn't there, you're part of the culture to create it. So I saw. And the main gym that I worked with was day in and day out was, again, LA Fitness. That became, for their members, a little bit of a social club where it just happened to be fitness. So people would achieve their goals and stuff like that. But then it would be that whole culture thing to the point that we would do 5-side football tournaments at Aston Uni, and we'd have members sign up. We would do social evenings on Broad Street. Members would turn up. It's that kind of thing. And then I felt then I didn't necessarily need to work for clients when it came to, well, now I'm going to do personal training because I already had that there. Yep. Sometimes, again, I think sometimes gyms don't allow that because it's all about, well, no, I need my cut. You need to get clients straight away. But then also the decision, and it's rightly so in many ways, they don't necessarily really hire let's say level 2 fitness instructors anymore, where you're just there to be on the gym floor. That's not really. Occasionally, I think it still does, but it's not really now. But I think I mentioned on the previous time we had a conversation, I learnt a lot in that in that role. It wasn't great work, but if I look back now, it's kind of like, oh, actually, it kind of helped me out a lot. So I don't think that's there anymore. So again, you need to build the culture. You need to be recognised. And I'm not talking about being a celebrity on Instagram and having so many followers. It's the people that you will see day in and day out. Yeah. Most successful independent gyms are successful because of the communities. And then that's when you'll get loyalty. Yeah.
It's easy to retain, a lot easier to retain, I believe, than to
I think it is.
It's done right.
People like you've got a quality personal trainer. You've hired that personal trainer because you see something in them, and then it kind of goes to shit a little bit once they're in the door, because then it's just pressure. I get it from a business point of view, but sometimes you have to play a little long game, and every coach is different. Just because they've all got the same level 3, no matter where they've gone and got it, doesn't mean every personality is the same. Doesn't mean that some people are more introvert than extrovert, stuff like that.
It. Do you know, I felt more of a therapist when I was PT. And
of course. But again, you build that trust within the client. Like, they're not going to tell you their life story the first time out, or maybe some of them will. But generally, then it's that trust. And I always felt when I was managing PTs, a PT would need to understand this, but I would also need to understand this. I would say, right, firstly, how many clients have you got? Obvious question, but then how many testimonials have you got in terms of actually what clients have achieved stuff? Because as much as I appreciate that, and I've talked about it, it becomes a social thing. Great if a coach has got clients that will just train with them no matter what, but you also need the balance, because not every client's going to be like that. Sometimes they want to say, I want to train for a marathon, I'm getting married, so I've got 6 months. You need some of those clients as well, because you need to be able to back up what you've learned as well. So there's it's a balance. So it's hard work, and there's lots of caveats to it. It's a great career.
I think it's amazing.
It is a great career. Don't get me wrong, and the opportunities that you get are like tenfold. But you have to put the work in, and you have to network. It is all about network.
Oh, it's massive. Where would you see the industry going then? We've obviously got the rise of AI at the moment. Do you see PTs getting replaced, or it's useful at the moment, but
it's useful at the moment. I don't think it's necessarily going to replace personal training, because it's all down to like motivation of the client, right? So a client, you're right,
you only get 1 hour out of what?
But like if I step back, a client can go onto ChatGPT now and say, I want a program, right? They could get a program, but then they've got to bloody do it, right? Are they going to do it? 99% of the time. We know motivation's a key element. So without that face-to-face support, without that consistency, you're not going to do it. And also, I think, and I could be wrong in this, but I think a high amount of people that are going to do that are never going to get personal training anyway, to start with, right? So they may try it and think, oh, actually, like there's more work because I've actually got to go and do it now. They think, oh yeah, I can get it. Because I don't want some people will think personal training is just writing programs. Well, if that's the case, then just use ChatGPT. But that's not what we do. That's not what it is. Yeah, it's the execution. Yes, they can write a good program where you go and copy and paste it, but are you going to get up 3 times a week, 4 times a week and go and do that without someone supporting you?
Yeah.
Maybe not. And I think that's the difference. So I think AI will be there as support. I don't think it's going to place personal training. But also, I think as they become more well-rounded in terms of where we're at today, like your blood testing, like your VO2, like let's say more specific. Yeah. Third Space have opened that performance hubs.
Have they?
Where it's like the VO2 testing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You only ever used to see them in sports clubs and universities, right?
I mean,
and now we're in a gym, a high-end gym, but still in a gym.
Yeah.
Where that wasn't going to be the case 15 years ago.
Mate, VO2, you were doing it in a university, really, weren't you?
Yeah,
at Loughborough.
Yeah, because it was known and recognised, and still is, as it's testing your athletic threshold in terms of competing. Whereas actually now it's seen in a good way, positive way.
In VO2.
Yeah, in terms of like longevity, we can gauge in terms of actually. Not necessarily how long you're going to live for, which again they'll talk about, but actually the quality of life now that you're doing, like that miracle decade that what's his name, Dr. Peter Attia mentioned. That decade is coming, whether you like it or not. What do you want that last 10 years to be like? Exactly. And it's kind of like
and that's HRV, VO2, quad strength, grip strength.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a couple of times blood. So those that might be sitting here going, why blood work? I mean, we've all seen it. I think for me, we've hopefully got some stuff we'll be working on together. But you've got finger prick testing, which is great. I think it's not very reliable. There's a lot of data, I believe, about there to unpick it, but it's got a price point that makes it accessible.
And it's getting less intrusive as well. Price point is good, but then it's less intrusive. Like you get the general person that at the moment, the only way they could do VO2 is in a performance lab.
Yeah.
They're not going to go into a performance lab. They struggle sometimes with confidence to walk into a gym. The last thing they're going to do is one of them. So again, it's getting less like intrusive and intimidating now as well, I feel, which is a good thing.
It's more accessible.
Yes.
Why would blood work be useful? Why are we...
I think it's just more general knowledge in terms of where you're at from a body perspective. We talked about, strength, and we talked about cardio, thresholds and stuff like that. Blood work is important for that, for more knowledge of where you're currently at. Yeah. And that will help guide you in terms of the programming that you'll need or the nutrition plans that you'll need and stuff like that. And also, and again, I quote Dr. Peter Attia in his book, these diseases that come, you don't just wake up one day and all of a sudden you've got a disease. That's been bubbling there for years, right? So it's kind of like, how do you recognise that so you can put things in? If you watch the show Limitless with him with Chris Hemsworth, season 1, I know there's a season 2
He's stopped acting now, isn't he, I think, before?
No, he's doing the new Avengers, isn't he?
Was he back already? Well, he did, because off the back of it, wasn't he?
Was because it was something to do, I think, it was something to do, he's got early, potentially, Alzheimer's, because of, like, you look at him, you would think, one of the fittest, healthiest guys, but the only reason they found out is because of the blood working stuff that they were doing, I think, anyway. So it's stuff like that. It's important because you think Chris Hemsworth is clean but healthy that you've seen. He's the optimum of, good head of hair, like, you know what I mean? Built like a sack house, good looking, like, bloody hell, he's got life. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he wouldn't necessarily think, because he would have people around him telling him, man, like, you're the optimum of fitness, where that's changing now. So blood work is important in that regard, I
think my own personal anecdote on it was, I remember when I was back in my corporate days, it was like obviously burning the candle at both ends, and I had some blood work done, my cholesterol's through the roof. To look at, you would never have known.
Because again, the assumption is, and like cholesterol, like you've talked about, it's through the roof, but cholesterol can be a good thing, but again, because of the marketing of foods and stuff like that, it's considered negative connotations, where that's not always
it's the building blocks, the testosterone for a start. But I think those understanding and measure, because then it started, I mean, that's when you start being able to be a bit more specific at programming. And then through this stuff, we've also learned that the primary health care sector, or the primary care sector, should say, they ethically don't believe in putting needles in people unless they're symptomatic. Which is nuts.
That's always been a lot of reactive thing, which again, medicine has moved on so far over the years, but it's always been a reactive. We'll kind of help the problem rather than let's try and like prolong that problem ever happening. You know,
imagine blood testing everyone like once every 6 months, to sort of the data set to the pre-warning.
Yeah. And I think that's where it goes. To go back to where do you see it? I think that will become more commonplace.
Yeah.
Yes, cost would still need to come down, but that's just going to happen naturally over the years anyway, because that's what happens. But things like that would be more commonplace. So that would be more education to the member first of all, wherever you are, but also to the coach, and then just general population. Because gym memberships, you've still got to remember, and I'm only talking gym memberships, it's like 13-15% of the whole UK population. So it's still a very small amount of people in the UK. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is a whole other conversation.
Right. On that note, mate, I could sit here and talk for hours.
Yeah.
We will have to get you back.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. Anyway. Appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me.
I'll speak to you soon.
Yeah. Take care.
Cheers, buddy.